Should we get started?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
This is exciting.
I think great thing about science is to set the questions or goal by yourself. It's an amazing game in a sense.
Hi everyone. We're Hana, Leora,
and Jacob.
and this is Beyond the. I know I said it. I like forgot.
Sorry.
Okay, go. Welcome to Beyond the Lab, the podcast where we discuss all things not science with the world's leading scientists. Today, we're honored to host Dr. Hiro Funabiki, head of the Funabiki Lab at the Rockefeller University. Dr. Funabiki's research delves into the mechanisms by which cells ensure accurate chromosome numbers, detect abnormal chromosome and foreign DNA, and adapt to these irregularities or eliminate them. The Funabiki Lab aims to understand the molecular basis for cancers and other diseases. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Funabiki.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to having this opportunity.
But first, an icebreaker. Dr. Funabiki, can you please tell us what your favorite flower is?
My goodness, I never thought about it. I would say cherry blossom. That is actually very. It's kind of, I would say national flower for Japan.
Great.
And it's whenever I see that cherry blossom, it's really making me rejuvenated and signs of the springs and new life, and it's so beautiful. So yeah,
I agree. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Hana means cherry blossom in Japanese. Is that right?
Yeah, hana means the in general flower.
Flower.
Yeah.
Got it. And what about you, Jacob? Do you have a favorite flower?
I love dahlias, and it also happens to be that my mom's name is Dahlia, so we
Oh,
have
that's pretty.
dahlias sometimes just like in the house because my mom likes that. She says, "Oh, they're named after me."
Nice. What about you, Leora? So I've always been obsessed with tulips since I was younger, and like in first grade, I used to, on all my work, I used to draw tulips around the whole page. And so my parents, when they came in for like conferences, they drew tulips on their own like letter to me. And yeah, it was very cute. That's so nice. For me, I really like hyacinths because they just smell really nice. So that's probably my favorite.
So now that we've done the icebreaker, we want to move on to our first kind of larger topic that we want to talk about in this podcast, which is your childhood. And you did not grow up in America.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was born in Kyoto, Japan, and I grew up until the end of my PhD. And I stayed with my parents because my parents' house is just like 2 minutes away from the Kyoto University, where I went for college and grad school. My father was the faculty at the Kyoto University, and I lived with my mother's grandparents. And my grandfather, who lived with, was also the chemist and was a professor. And so I was born in a very academic environment, and that really influenced me about my childhood and so forth. My father had 1 year of the sabbatical opportunity in London, and he brought the family to London for 1 year when I was 7 years old, and that had a huge impact to myself. So during 1 year, my father brought the family to travel a lot, Paris, Rome, Florence, and Switzerland, Ireland, and so I wonder whether he could have done any kind of work. I was exposed to many of the amazing museums and natural history museums, and one of my favorite in London was the British Museum, where I was really attracted to the mummies, and also a natural history museum and the amazing fossils of the dinosaurs, which I never saw in Japan. But then I had to go back, and I totally forgot my English, and but still I got some familiar with this still kind of the English and so forth, and I just wanted to be good at the English. And luckily I went to the mission school in the middle school and the high school, which had a very rigorous English curriculum. I still hesitate to say that after living in the United States more than 25 years, my the accent are being improved. But still, I think in the Japanese standard, we had a very strong education in English, and that really helped me to get the tickets to get outside of Japan. But I think while I was a younger kid, before middle school, I had several health issues, and I had pneumonia twice, and I was not really athletics, but I realized I was very competitive spirit. And I was bullied when I was in elementary school, and I had a scar, I think, this side, and because I was pushed out from the top of the in the stage,
Oh, no.
and I hit the at the corner of the piano, and
Goodness.
I almost lost my eyesight. Right,
Oh,
it was
no.
just close enough. So,
That's terrible.
but kind of interestingly, that out of that instant, I realized there's opportunity to get into this mission school, which is a high academic school, and I had to prepare my entrance exam, and I studied hard, and then I became actually very competitive in terms of the academic performance in the school, and my classmates started to respect me. And that's what they actually respect me. Right? And then luckily I got into the school, and then I realized that I was very lucky to see the school teacher who was also the coach for the swimming team. And he kind of convinced us, many of us, that the building the body is very important for your whatever you want to do in a career. So I thought that I thought I could swim. So I entered this swimming club or swimming team. It was really, really hard and difficult. And I was very lucky enough to find that I was a decent backstroker. I was terrible at the end of freestyle and terrible at the breaststroke, but I realized that I had some natural kind of capacity to backstroke. And so I was competitive in the in Kyoto regional, and that made a great influence that I feel developed my confidence. And then realized this during training, I learned how to make a pace of the training, and you cannot push yourself all the time. You need some cycle of the pushing yourself and take a rest. And that made me really help to think about and plan how to spend my days or spend my years and during my career and so forth. So, and also indeed, my coach was true that because I built up my body during that time and had to do training, I felt that I am healthy enough to do challenging study, which is research, right? Which is very competitive, and also you have to work hard, and then I can deal with that. So,
That's so interesting.
Made you more resilient.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting that like in your mind, it was only once you could become physically strong that you could also kind of like be competitive mentally too.
Yeah, so kind of, I think that this sport was very, in a sense, simple, right? And swimming is the individual kind of sport. So you can just fight against yourself, and you can just chase against your best time, right? I'm kind of also still thinking about it during that training period that you have to, there's the menu of the training, right? 15 meters by 30 times and so forth. And each time you have an interval and the resting times of 10 seconds, something like that, right? So I kind of thinking of a kind of analogy in my own research when trying to publish it, where we are and how much we can push at the moment. This is good, but maybe not at the moment, or this is time we can just take a rest. This time we will push hard, right? So, so that's kind of the thing I make an analogy, and I think that really helped me.
And as a child, were there any potential careers that you wanted to look into other than science that interested you?
And because I was sick and tends to have lots of the health issues. And also I had asthma and some allergic issues. And so I frequently visit the hospital. And then one of the medical doctors said to me that, maybe you want to be a doctor, medical doctor. I thought about that when I was in elementary school, but I realized that what I was thinking most time during my childhood was philosophical questions about what is consciousness, and how brain works, or how evolution works, and I'm getting more interested about natural science and how this universe works or develop and so forth. And also I knew that I wanted to make mistakes, and I don't want to be so responsible about some other people's life. And if you become a medical doctors and physician, you have to be responsible for other patients. You cannot make mistakes. And I wanted to be doing something which the mistakes can be allowed. That is natural of the set. And I think that research, particularly academia, is perfect kind of the job for me. Yes.
Yeah. In your childhood and going into teenhood, you kind of talked a little bit about your journey of learning English.
Right.
And I know that a lot of people who don't grow up in America and who want to learn
Right.
English, they use different types of American media
Right.
to teach themselves. Did you use any type of American media, like TV shows or movies, that you really enjoyed to learn English?
I love many kind of music. When I was in high school, I love heavy metals, like Ozzy Osbourne. And but also I enjoy Beatles and Billy Joel. But I think later I got into the grad school. I realized I really had to learn more English and started to read novels. I read Jurassic Park, and that was a quite nice intersection between real science and the science fiction. So, and I learned a lot of the vocabularies by reading the mysteries and also science fiction.
Wow. You learned scientific vocabulary by reading science fiction?
Well, it's not necessarily science. Of course, scientific vocabulary is I learned from the reading the papers and so forth, right? But I think the science fiction books is also I learned from those language in terms of more conversational one, and also the something out of my scientific field, right?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and now for my favorite segment, Dr. Funabiki's favorite things. So first, we'd like to know about your favorite hobbies outside of the lab.
I try many things and I fail in terms of hobbies and so forth. But I can tell you what I enjoy, and I think I like cooking.
Oh, great.
And, you may not say that cooking is a hobby, right? But I really like cooking.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
Yeah, so that's another thing, right? I like dumpling.
Nice. I love dumplings.
It's a nice kind of ritual and also kind of meditation. And my family and the friends really appreciate. Cooking turkey at the Thanksgiving is my job, and
It's a big responsibility.
yes, and this New Year in Japan, they're having the special New Year breakfast. It's called osechi ryori. There are many different kinds of the dishes we have to cook, and I'm responsible for like 5 or 6 of them, and it's a really joyful experience.
Yeah, that's a great reason to cook.
Yeah, I probably enjoy, besides, climbing, which I'm kind of fake climber.
Climbing?
But this is because my wife is a real avid climber.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I was trying to catch up, but I broke my arm
Oh, no.
2 years ago. But I recently coming back, and yeah, I think last weekend I think I made a great benchmark.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so I was very, very happy about that. And maybe the third thing is that I love going to museum. And as a scientist, I have several opportunities to visit different cities around the world. And then wherever I go, I would have a chance to go to check out the museum. And recently I visited Paris and London, and we had many chances to see museum. And even went to the Yale in March, and they have a fantastic museum, and I really like it. And also, of course, in the city, Metropolitan and MoMA and elsewhere. And the way I enjoy this museum is that I set some kind of quiz to myself. For example, I think recently my task is to find the female artist in the museum, and who was the oldest female painter exhibiting in such kind of museum and so forth. And you're surprised at a few of them, but then I realized that they are, and then you started to learn the histories of the individual, and then there are some commonalities, and it's a great way to track down the art history. And it's not just the art style, but how human relationships and society evolve, and you learn from that kind of just going to museum and so forth. So that was a very fun activities that I enjoy.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something there that maybe the listeners don't really know, which is that as a scientist, you actually get to be a traveler. You get to go to places for conferences.
Yeah, so I was very lucky that I realized that part of the benefit of being a scientist from my father. And my father is very good at making friends from foreigners. And he brought his friends from United States or Italy, and we had kind of some dinner together. And I thought it was cool to make friends from anywhere, right? And so not only I had a chance to travel to other places and meet other people there, and I was very fascinated to have a chance to go to visit China for the first time this spring, and met many Chinese scientists, as well as I had a chance to talk to some local Chinese people, and change kind of how I view this country and so forth. And but at the same time, we are very lucky to have students and scientists all across the world here, right? And this is kind of an opportunity that I never get if I stayed in Japan.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? My goodness. Yeah, it's one of those most difficult questions. But I tend to say Seven Samurai. This is done by Japanese famous director Akira Kurosawa.
Yes.
It's a long and black and white, but it's an amazing story about the seven samurai help this little farmer's village who has to defend from these bandits. It's about the leadership and also responsibility, and how to just organize the people and to defend this. And it's really amazing storytelling, and I really love it. And another favorite Kurosawa movie was the Rashomon. This is about the story about the murder. And then I think 4 or 5 people who witnessed this murder, each of them just explain what they see. And they have a very different story to tell. And that also I experienced that in a lab, or even my friendship and family, that there are always some disputes, and the way see this some same thing can be very different,
Right.
different based on different perspective. So I tend to hear all different aspects to synthesize the story and so forth. Yeah.
Great. So now we're going to move on to questions about your current life. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey to Rockefeller and why you chose to work here?
Yes. So I moved to United States when I was I think 28 or so. After finishing my PhD training in Kyoto University, I went to San Francisco, University of California, San Francisco, UCSF, in the laboratory of Andrew Murray. He was a really amazing person. His science is so unique, and yeah, I was a big fan of him. So then my boss, Andrew, moved to Harvard after 4 years. So I moved with him. So I drove cross country all by myself, and it was really fun. At that time, I was working on this project which I developed using the frog egg extract, and developed some method to purify mitotic chromosome. And lucky that turned out to be a very interesting story. And at that point, I was not so sure whether I can be lab head in United States, but my PI, Andrew, encouraged me to apply, and he convinced me I was competent. So I applied several places, and I was very, very lucky to get the offer from several places. It was very, very difficult decision I have to make. But in the end, I chose Rockefeller because it gave the best offer. And I didn't have to teach. I rather wanted to focus on the research, and the Rockefeller gave the opportunity. And another important reason is the New York. I found that this city attracts lots of the aspiring people with some energy. And I thought that there's lots of opportunities to meet great people here. And at that time I was single. So, and so I really seek for the opportunity to meet people. And in turn, I think that was right. And now I really love living in New York. And this is never, bored me. And I learn so many new things every year.
So our podcast is geared towards younger students, either in high school and college, who are considering a career in science. So what advice would you give to them?
I think great thing about science is to set the questions or goal by yourself, right? It's an amazing game in a sense, right? I'm sure that people will enjoy the games, right? And video games and so forth. And then, but those games are, I say, other people set some task, right? But the world is just filled with so much mysteries. You have opportunity to discover that mystery by yourself, right? And this is quite amazing opportunities. You have only one opportunity to enjoy your life, right? And there are many things you can do to help other people, to make society better places. If you think about what you can make to things a better place, make this society a enjoyable place. What I wanted to convince people is that this universe is just full of mystery. It is so beautifully organized. It's amazing. So I really want everybody to understand how amazing this world it is. But to be able to appreciate that, you need to learn. You need to be able to appreciate what the human society has done in terms of accumulation of knowledge and so forth. So I think to make a long story short, ask questions by yourself. and set the question yourself. Usually there are answers. Just doing by yourself will just help appreciate all those process. If you just access the Wikipedia page, you feel that you get access to those knowledge, but you may not really appreciate as an experience about this knowledge.
So, is there anything we haven't asked you? Anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah. People may see scientists as geeks. They're thinking about the research, but I think one of the reasons I wanted to be a scientist is meet people and meet people who can comfortably discuss about facts, but also any kind of thing. I'm curious to anything. And I think scientists tends to be curious to anything, and there are many things that we can relate to. So and you gave me this opportunity to talk about this kind of topic. I'm very happy that I have this opportunity. So.
Well, we were so happy to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, it was our pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
And see you next time on Beyond the Lab.
Thanks to our interviewee, Dr. Hiro Funabiki, and thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, please share our podcast with family, friends, and anyone you know who loves science and stories of the people behind it. Beyond the Lab is a production of RockEDU Science Outreach at the Rockefeller University in New York City. It was produced and hosted by Hannah, Leora, and Jacob during their participation in the Summer Science Research Program. It was also produced by Emily Costa and Laura Pelliser with assistance from Lizzie Krish. Our cover art was designed by Jeannie Garbarino, and our theme music is by Blue Dot Sessions. To learn more about Beyond the Lab or RockEDU, please visit www.rockefeller.edu/outreach. And thanks for listening.